everyone's here. I know everyone's still trying to remember their unmute button. That's the one thing. It's been gone from Zoom all summer and you're like mute, unmute. So today is the August 27th, 2025 Parks and Environment Committee meeting for Manhattan Community Board 7. So we typically take a break from official meetings during July and August. So I wanted to thank everyone on this committee for taking the time to attend the special meeting tonight. This is an online meeting only, and we have a quorum, so we're going to go forward. Before we go any further, I just wanted to make a motion to adopt the agenda, and I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Looks like
Okay, good.
unanimous. The motion's passed. The agenda is adopted. So we only have one item on this agenda, Margaret, and I guess Terry or Ivy, they're going to present it. And this presentation, this item will require a resolution. So, so please stick around and make sure that we kind of knock that out at the end. The presentation is going to be given, I think, Terry, you're the landscape architect on this project. Is that right?
Correct. Abel Baines and Butts as a consultant to the Parks Department. And I'm one of the principals at Abel Baines and Butts, and Ivy is the project manager.
Gotcha. So they're going to go ahead and give this presentation. After the presentation, there will be time for questions and feedback. So please hold everyone's comments and questions until then. So there you go. Margaret, Terry, Ivy, you guys go ahead and lead our discussion. I just need to get that out of the way.
So back to more thanks. So again, thank you very much for helping us, for scheduling this, because I know, the end of the summer, it's really, really tough, but we have a tight schedule on these projects. So we are looking for a resolution because our next step will be Landmarks Preservation Commission. And as you remember from Dinosaur Playground, sometimes that can involve public hearings and everything. So those can take a little while. So as you've already noted, we have Terry Berger and Ivy Wang from Abel Baines and Butts. And of course, Steve Simon, you all know well from Chief of Staff for Commissioner Shimamura, and myself, Margaret Bracken from Riverside Park. So we're really excited about this project. It is originally a Moses era playground, renovated in the 90s. Very popular playground at 83rd Street, just off Riverside Drive in the park. Our total budget is just over $7 million. And as with many things in Riverside Park, we have Council Member Gail Brewer to thank for that funding. So over to Terry to run you through their design, the ABB design.
Thank you, Margaret. And thank you to all the members of the committee. Appreciate you being here tonight. Ivy, is it possible to make the image a little bigger and slide your tools off? That might help everybody a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's full screen. If you can get it on full screen, that would be good.
All right, there we go. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with the playground. As Margaret said, it's at the 83rd Street entrance, and more specifically, it's directly west of West 82nd Street at Riverside Drive. Next slide, Ivy.
I'm sorry, I don't think we're seeing the slides of the park, or at least I'm not.
Oh.
No, the slides are up. I can see them.
I'm sorry, I'm seeing myself and the other members of the committee, and I'm eager to see the slides of the park.
The slides are up.
Have you looked at the very top? There's a view section.
Is everybody else seeing it?
We can see it. The slide. We can see the
Oh,
slide.
is there? I'm not quite sure why I can't see it at all. I see the people on the committee.
Yeah, you might have to make an adjustment on your side of things.
Well, I'm not sure what to do, but I'll try. Is everybody seeing the park and only I'm not? So can't quite get that.
If you you go up to the very top, there's a section that says view. Maybe you can select one of the panels there that'll bring up the content. There's going to show you that you can see the shared content or just the gallery or side by side or standard. So maybe you can go up to the very top and select view and see if something pops down that allows you to see it. The other thing you can do is you can try to hop out and come back in and see whether or not that pops up everything. But we do need to move forward.
Check the top right view.
Yeah.
And make sure it's on. Well, standard seems to be what mine is on, and I have the participants as well as the PowerPoint.
Okay, I'm gonna motor on for now.
Right.
All right, so this is just depicting adjacent land uses to the playground. To the east is predominantly multifamily residential. Next. And this is a circa 1945 photograph that shows the playground in its historical context, specifically to the park's 1930s expansion westward. This slide illustrates the amenities within the park that are half a mile walk west from Columbus Avenue, as well as from West 71st Street to West 90th. And that includes 4 playgrounds and includes River Run Playground. This was our diagram that depicts the existing conditions. So there is a public restroom building at the playground's north end, and that dates back to Moses era. And the present condition of the playground is primarily from a late 1990s capital reconstruction. Of particular note is the unique community loved custom sandbox, which is at the south end of the playground. That was designed by local resident and artist Jerry Linus. So, and the sandbox has a relationship to the water spray, which is directly axial to the public restroom building. So there is an existing spray shower that drains towards the south. There's also existing play equipment for multiple age groups. There is multiple seating, although a bit dated at this point. There's benches all around the perimeter. The pavement type is predominantly asphalt throughout. There are granite block strips where there are existing trees, and then also at the perimeter. Let's see, the other thing to note is that there are existing swings. The other thing that is sort of interesting and unique about the park is that there is a large rock outcrop to the east side, and it actually pokes a little bit into the existing playground as the perimeter fence goes up and over it.
Terry, I just want to clarify that the public restroom building is not part of this project. Everything else is, but not the PRB.
Yes, thank you so much for doing that. Appreciate that. And then the next slide, Ivy. So this is a site analysis, just taking a look at a little bit more at what the conditions are. Some of these things I've already mentioned, outdated equipment, where the existing trees are, the pits for the trees are currently undersized. There are there have been some drainage issues that have been identified by the park's maintenance folks and users. The other thing that will be included in the scope that we'll be addressing is, at present, there are sloped walkways that lead up to the bluestone, I'm going to call it patio or foyer, to the public restroom building. They are not at present ADA compliant, so that will be addressed as part of the project. Next. This slide represents the existing tree conditions. There's a mix of deciduous trees, specifically including little leaf lindens, American lindens, and river birch within the playground proper, so within the fenced area of the playground. There are 3 small trees that are identified with the blue X and TP. Those trees will be impacted by the design. So we have elected to transplant those into the larger Riverside Park area. So somewhere outside of the playground, we'll work with the parks people, including Margaret, to find an appropriate location for them. Next slide. All right. Hey, Ivy, I just wanted to mention, I'm seeing slightly cut off image. I don't know if everybody else is. Is everybody else or no? Yes. I don't know if you can reduce your image size a little bit, Ivy, but if you're full screen, you might not be able to. Okay, you can go to the next slide. All right, thank you. So these are some, just an array of existing conditions photos. The first one shows you the public restroom building at the north end of the site. As I mentioned previously, there you can see that patio area. The next photo shows these, very ornate, large entrance gates, but also on the east side is the double gate that exists, which makes this a little bit more of a accessible and easy to enter situation to get into the playground. So you'll see that we intend to preserve the larger decorative gate, but also include new double gates here. Continue. Thank you. This to the left is showing you the vehicular entrance gates. So the playground does require some access by parks vehicles for maintenance. And it also shows you that the fencing around the perimeter is existing chain link fence, which is 8 foot high. The right slide, you can start to see the eastern condition of the playground. You start to see the rock outcrop there, and then that granite cobble condition all around. Sorry, next. There, you can see it again in that image on the left, and the image on the right shows you the existing swings. It's a very big swing set here, lots of seats. And we are going to carry that through in the new design. The image on the left shows you some of the unfortunate circumstances that result from matured trees in playgrounds over time. You can start to see that the asphalt pavement is lifting due to the roots on the left. That's something that a condition that we're going to be addressing. And on the right, you can see the amazing sculptural sandbox that exists, which will be preserved. This is the existing water feature. And just to the left of that image on the left, you can start to see there's a flagpole that exists. You can continue. Some more images of the conditions of the trees, the roots that you can see sort of starting to protrude, the narrow or very small tree pits. Next. Existing benches. Next. There's another image of the flagpole. When we met with the community was interested in seeing the flagpole removed, so that is our current plan, is to remove the existing flagpole. On the right, you see the existing 2 to 5 year old play equipment. Next. On the left, the 5 to 12 year old equipment. And then on the right are some newer pieces that were introduced relatively recently that replaced a previous carousel. Margaret can correct me if I have that wrong, but I think it was an older carousel. Next. And these were when we met with the community back in February, and these were the priorities that were identified by the folks that we met with. And I'm assuming that may have included some of you that are here tonight. So of import was a community gathering space, park amenities of a variety, picnic tables, challenging play equipment that included climbing, and improvements to the drainage system, the ADA accessibility, and preserving the healthy trees. Next. And this is the schematic design plan. What you can see is one of the things that we've done, which Ivy, maybe you can kind of trace this with your mouse, is that on the eastern side where the rock outcrop had previously projected, since it was neither sort of in or out and was creating a number of problems, we took a look, we studied how to best address this, and where we landed in collaboration with Parks was to eliminate that little bit of outcrop from the playground proper. So we've pulled the fence line inward a little bit so that the edge of the rock outcrop will now be outside of the fence. So the configuration of the playground or the perimeter edges of the playground have changed just a little bit in that area. Otherwise, it is more or less the exact same shape and size. And then in terms of amenities, as I mentioned, or first, as Steve mentioned, we're not doing any improvements to the public restroom building. We are, however, addressing a portion of that patio area. So we will be replacing the bluestone there and the curbing and making an ADA compliant ramp on either end. The first element as you move from the public restroom in a southerly direction is a water play feature, which we'll show you some more, some detailed images of in a moment. Programmatically, in addition, new equipment, both for 5 to 12-year-olds to the west and for 2 to 5-year-olds to the east. Again, swings coming back with the same number of seats, so that's a total of 9 seats. We are treating the mature trees, as you can see, quite a bit differently. Rather than having them in individual pits, we've elected to create larger planting areas for them to help preserve them and to improve their health conditions for the long term. And then we have outlined in appropriate use areas on the edges of plantings, benches. So you can see the benches surrounding the planting areas. In addition, we've created those gathering spaces, picnic areas that the community was interested in. There are 2 designated areas. And then in addition to that, we've created a seating area for the little people. So there's a series of what are called tot tables. So they're, smaller scale. And let's see what else. In addition, as I mentioned, we're maintaining the sandbox. And one of the things which we'll talk about in some more detail is that we're looking to add a component that will add accessibility to the sandbox. We're also improving all of the lighting throughout. Where it made sense, we were able to retain a couple of the existing light fixtures in their present locations. It helps to not have to remove those in terms of tree conditions, right? So we don't have to hopefully impact tree roots and things like that. But we did definitely have to add additional lights within the playground to get adequate coverage. I think I caught everything. Oh, in addition, we're going to be adding new drinking fountains, a bottle filler, other new furnishings, including trash receptacles. And one of the things that we did to help create a stronger linkage between the water play area and the sandbox was to carry through some of the themes of the water play design, which includes, and you'll understand this a little better when you see some imagery of these stone blocks are carried through along the edges of the play area and play areas as it leads down to the sandbox. I think I have covered. Oh, going back, well, we'll talk about it in detail, but the entire perimeter fence will be redone, as will the gates. Next. This is a diagram of the existing fencing. So as I mentioned, right now we've got 8-foot chain link fence all around. We do have a steel gates for pedestrian entrances on either side of the public restroom building, as well as a vehicular gate, which is chain link fence. And around the swings, the existing fence is 3.5 feet high, steel fence. Next. And this is a new fencing diagram illustrating that we're looking to bring the height of the fence down around the perimeter, change it to the traditional Riverside Park steel picket fence. We'll be putting back the vehicular gates, but that will be a steel fence. At the swing area, the steel picket fence will be 3 foot high. And then to help protect some of the plantings that are more vulnerable to foot traffic, we're utilizing the traditional wicket fence, which is just a foot high. And then in terms of play equipment, here's some imagery for that. This would be the swings, which is a combination of belt seats and the traditional bucket seats, as well as an accessible seat. Next. This is the play structure for children aged 2 to 5. It has a series of platforms and stairs that get you up to higher platforms with a slide, other ways to climb up. Next. Well, actually, go back. I'm sorry, go back 1 second. Just to show you up in the right, you can see that this kind of accounts for the play activities that are included. So there are a total of elevated components that are accessible. There's a total of 6. There's a total of ground level play components that are 16, and then different types of ground components. Next. Whoop. There we go. And this illustrates the 5 to 12 play structure. Again, lots and lots of activities here. Many activities that are offered for children that have limited mobility, in addition to ramps to get children up with limited mobility up to an elevated level. There's lots of climbing activities, which was something, as I mentioned, the community was interested in. And then again, the note on the right there, you can see all of the various activities that are offered. In general, the color palette that was selected was sort of in keeping with the natural feel of Riverside Park. Next. This is our water spray shower slide. Starts to show you what the concept is here. And although the longer runnel is lost, we know that that was something that was much loved by children. And so we're looking to incorporate a slightly modified version of that in this localized area. That's what you see there in the darker tan color. And we're utilizing these flat boulders within as both seating and water feature elements, in addition to ground sprays. Next.
I'm sorry, Terry, I don't think you did justice to that last one. This is going to be a very unusual spray shower feature. There are going to be 3 different types of sprays provided within that space. This is not your typical spray shower. There's going to be all sorts of different ways in which the kids will be able to enjoy and use that spray shower. And you can see on the right side the different types of sprays, this wave jet, the mushroom jet, the regular sprays coming up from the bottom. So Terry, you shouldn't just shuffle over this one. There's a lot going on in that spray shower.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. We do have some illustrations of it coming up. So I think that tells the story also a little bit better. But Steve is absolutely right. There is a lot going on here. Next slide. All right. So this is the sand table, and what you're seeing essentially shows you the massing of it and the dimensions of it. It allows someone that may be in a wheelchair to access it and approach it and come right underneath the table. What we're showing here is really, again, as I said, it's a volume of it. So we are working very closely with the original sculptor for the existing sandbox, Jerry Linus, and the intent here is to have Jerry Linus put his artistic talents to work on this piece. We want it to be integrated with the existing sandbox piece. So again, what you're seeing is really just an armature for it. And you know, we're not quite there yet. We've had several meetings with Jerry, and he will be working on you know, adding his again artistic vision to this. But material wise, we're looking to do something that's precast concrete that can be brought in, you know, easily installed without impacting or really touching the existing sandbox at all, but have it look like an integrated component. And as you can see on the lower right side, the location of it is at the south end towards the east. Maybe the next slide helps tell the story a little bit more even. So what you're seeing here is a section cut through, more of a construction section. The black and white that you see line drawing is how the existing sandbox was constructed. So you can see we're looking to really just sort of float this over top, and a foundation will go into the existing sandbox. So all you'll see, if you take a look at that line that says finished grade, all of that is going to be buried below the sand. And so you won't see it, and all of the foundation and connections will be well below the area of the sandbox itself. Next image. And there you can see it in an image within the existing sandbox. So that's the idea, is that this sort of floats up and out. And the way it works is that it gives somebody who's in a wheelchair or not the opportunity to play with sand up at this higher level. And we do see there being some interactive play between someone who's working at the sand table and, you know, children who are playing within the sandbox, and also see opportunities for cooperative play, because, you know, there's going to want to be an exchange of sand up from the main sandbox up to the table and vice versa. So again, if you can imagine Jerry creating his you know, super interesting creatures and other features here within that table, that's what we want this to really start to look like. And then this illustrates what the other materials are that we'll be using throughout. In terms of pavement, there is a little bit of concrete pavement that goes under the benches. It will be, we'll go back to using asphalt pavement for some of the pathways. There is bluestone pavement for the patio area outside of the public restroom building. And then using concrete pavers in this beige color, which is consistent with pavers that have been used in other areas within the park. The water play feature will, the surface, the ground plane, will be colored concrete. Again, we're sort of in that taupey, sandy color that correlates to the public restroom, the stone in the public restroom building. There you can see a detail of the colors for the play equipment on the upper right, and then the lower right are the play surface or the resilient surface that will go below the play equipment. Those are the mix of colors we're looking to use. Next. And then here's the palette of furnishings. The standard bench for Riverside Park is this type B bench, which is the precast concrete standards with wood slats for the back and the seat, wood picnic tables. You can see the trash can, and those in the middle bottom image is the precast concrete top tables that I mentioned near the 5 to 12 play area. Drinking fountain, bottle filler, and I guess up to the right, I'm sorry, is just a detailed colored image of the wood that's used for the picnic tables and for the bench. Series of fences and gates that we'll be using. I mentioned the wicket fence is sort of a new introduction to the playground, but wicket fencing is used in other places in Riverside Park. We'll be continuing with the standard B-pole with the Riverside Luminaire. We are including bike racks. They are located actually outside of the fence. We'll show you that when we have a plan. I'll point it out when we go back at the end. The bike racks are outside of the perimeter fence of the playground, but we have included tot scooter rack within the playground because we have observed and been told that there are a lot of scooters that show up at the playground. Next. Our plant palette, a lot of native selections, and also selected to do well under the mature trees and amongst the roots of the trees. This is just to point out that we have increased the permeability in the playground significantly. So currently permeability within the playground is 2.5%, and it's going up to 20%. And then the following are renderings depicting the design. So you can see ooh, that's okay. This is your bird's eye view. So right side, you're looking at the western edge. Left side is the eastern edge, or upper left is the eastern edge. And there's a vignette of the water play. And this is looking from these benches are along the west side. That longer planter that we looked at, and so you're looking across the playground to the east. And you can see the sand table just off to the right yeah, there we go, in context of everything. This is a cross section as is indicated in the key plan at the lower right through the playground. So we're going from left, the north, where the public restroom building is, all the way across to the south on the right. And I believe this is our last slide. We're going to land on the overall plan, the overall proposed plan. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Happy to answer any questions, explain more. Oh, the one thing I wanted to note, oh, you don't see it here. Oh, you know what? I take it back. I'm sorry. Ivy, did we relocate the bike racks
Yeah, because
to be inside?
Yeah, because it's more security.
Oh, okay. I'm
secure.
sorry. So let me correct myself. I apologize. So the bike racks and the scooter rack are within the playground.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I wanted to say hello to Gail Brewer, who joined us on the panel. And I didn't know, would you like to say a few words to us? It's so great to see you after a long summer.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. It's a great proposal. There are a couple of issues. First of all, on the water feature, you said below regarding the sandbox that you have folks who will keep it updated. The same is true of the water, because is that something that doesn't break very often? It's so exciting to have it. I just want to make sure it's repairable on the water.
Yes, absolutely. These the water features that are proposed are used regularly throughout New York City parks, and I think the maintenance and operations folks are well accustomed to these kinds of features.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I mean, that's something that we have learned over the years, is to keep things simple with the sprinkler installations. So this will be, it's going to be, have a lot of activity and be a great experience for the kids, but also something that is maintainable for us.
Thanks, Margaret. The other thing also on the waterfront, I think you know that we just did a water fountain survey, 163 of them on the west side, 163, with every single one of them. And I just want to point out, not working many times, but at Salt Bloom, there's one that looks not just like yours, but it never worked. You push it, I did try to figure out myself. It's been fixed 3 times by Parks and it breaks the next day. So I don't know what kind you're doing, but just be aware, whatever the hell's in Salt Bloom, you don't want. And it looks beautiful. It's got the water bottle filling. It's got the dog thing. It's got you can fill it this way, fill it that way. But when you push the button, it doesn't work. So I don't know, again, what you're doing, but I just wanted to know.
Here we've got 2 independent fixtures. There's going to be the traditional drinking fountain, and there's also going to be a bottle filler.
Yeah, okay.
So
but just so you know, it doesn't work at Salt Bloom.
Okay.
It never worked. So just don't get the same one. I think you know that I put in 6.9 million, just 6.89 2 years ago, and or a year ago, just as Steve said, it doesn't include the bathroom. So we're still trying. We'll have further conversations to get the bathroom fixed, because it is hard to do the playground and not have it ADA, et cetera, and be just as nice. So we're working on that. The other issue is, not many people are on tonight. So I don't know if Community Board 7 is going to have another hearing on this when parents are around, or how we could do better outreach. Shula is quite upset, Steve, as you know. And so my question, that's sort of a rhetorical question to the Community Board and Parks. We need more information to be out to the public, because they'll love it, but they'll have ideas. And even though they've come up with some ideas, this, I think, what they'd love to see. Will there be, even now, some signage at the current river run as to where they can get information and where they can make their comments seen? Where would that be taking place? Question number 1.
Steve, you're muted.
Yeah, we can post something at the playground. That's a good idea.
Okay, and then like with a QR link or something so they can do feedback.
Okay.
And then also at the Westside County Fair, can we have a table? We'll have a table, but can you have a table so that people, again, can get flyers, QR code, etc.?
Well, let me talk to Margaret about that. I don't want to put her on the spot right now, but let's see what we can do about that.
Okay.
And
then,
also CB7, you're going to post it on your website, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be on the CB7 website. I mean, this full presentation.
This
Okay,
this video, the stream will be on there too, so we can promote this stream.
Yeah, but people don't go to websites, Margaret. You know that they just don't. So I'm just concerned because I want people to see and then have any input that they can. I think. Well, then for the community board, are you going to do this again, or is this the last time? Or in case people do want to see all of this, how would they do that, if at all?
No, this is the main presentation for it. This is where we have to decide whether or not we're going to pass a resolution or approve a resolution, and it's going to be brought before the full board, which is another place that the public can also speak up in a public setting. So those are the 2 areas, but this specific presentation was on the calendar and we have planned it, and it's been public. It's been noticed appropriatly, and so we're going to move forward with this resolution, and it's not going to be
Okay, but are you gonna vote on it on Tuesday? That's your next community board meeting. Are you voting on it?
Yeah, we're going to bring this proposed resolution to the full board for the vote.
Okay, all right.
I can jump in as well. It's Max. Sorry, I'm off camera because I was scarfing down some dinner. Daria is correct. We've had this on our website and we've noticed this since, this has been in the works since June, maybe July, but a long time. I think the issue is sometimes in August we've noticed a drop in engagement, usually in August.
Yeah, I don't think there are anybody here except for us, though. I'm just pointing out, not too many public members or public people. So there's a reason that nobody is here.
Yeah.
I'm
May
just saying, guys, we gotta, you know.
Hi, Gail. May I just say that what we can do, apart from obviously putting the video up, which is what we always do, we'll also make an announcement in our next committee meeting that this presentation happened, and that we'll try to provide the QR code or the link to further testimony or commentary directly to the Parks Department within our next committee meeting, which will be on the 15th of September. That's something we can do.
Okay, but you know.
Yeah.
And I think the Parks Department did outreach back in, was it February or when was it, Steve?
I don't remember exactly, but
February.
but Gail is correct. We should have done more outreach prior to tonight's meeting, and I take responsibility for failing to do that. I should have done it. But the other thing to consider is that as important as the community board resolution is, it is not it's not the final word on the project, and there is. It's certainly been known that changes have been made to projects after they go to the community boards, and especially this one, which is going to have to go to, Margaret, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's going to have to go to both the Landmarks Preservation Commission and to the Public Design Commission. So they're going to be, there's going to be a somewhat of a prolonged process in which it's going to go through various reviews.
Right. Will this demonstration, this PowerPoint, be on somebody's website?
Well, I think the community board is going to post it, and we can put it on the parks website as well.
Yeah, Gail, it's Max. Yeah, we'll have this on our website, and then as I think Natasha pointed out, we will have it on our YouTube channel as well.
Okay, because our newsletter goes out tomorrow, so I'm going to say that it's going to be posted in all those places, and then people can look at it, and if they want to make comments, they can come to the full board meeting on Tuesday night. I'm just saying we got a short
Right. Well, can you
here?
You can also will you be putting? You can put the link for the presentation in your newsletter.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. So it has to be up on something tomorrow so we can link to it.
No, but I gave you a separate link.
Oh, you did? Okay, fine. All right, then we'll link to it. Okay, that's fine. But you know, poor Steve, but people are really interested in this topic, and parents have opinions about it. So I just want to make sure they voice them. So thank you very much, and just be careful with that, Margaret, with that fountain, because most of them don't work. That's a big problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know that most of them don't work, but I don't know why the one at Sol Bloom doesn't work. I have to look into that.
Doesn't work. I pushed and pushed and pushed, and it didn't work. Just so you know. All right. Thank you.
That sounds like something out of some folk tale.
Does not work.
Alex, did you also have a question or feedback or comments?
Yeah, I had two questions, but actually just want to first echo what Gail said. I think that we don't want the perception to be that this seemed rushed, right? And I can already anticipate three things. Some people are going to say, the runnel that you've taken away? Like my daughter, I just had her look at the picture and she's like, where's the river? So I think there's going to be a lot of parents who are like, what? It's called River Run and the river is gone. Personally, I think you had to balance trade-offs and you probably made a good choice, but I could see that in making people not happy. I can also see the plantings part. I know a lot of parents in Hippo, another example, they say why we have all this planting, it's supposed to be a playground. So I think that also could cause some consternation. And then also there's going to be consternation about how long the playground is out of service, which I don't think you talked about yet. So if we say it's going to be out of service for a whole summer, that's another point where people are going to be like, what? So I think this is one of those we have to be a little careful. I think we should get big social media post this, and because we don't want a lot of like, this was rushed, these were not good decisions. So that's just like echoing these 3 points I think parents are going to be concerned about.
So in terms of the construction duration, it is typically 1 year. So yes, we will definitely be closed for one summer. But, the good thing about Riverside Park is, we've got Newfeld Playground, Elephant Playground to the south, there are alternatives. So, and it's just one of those things that we have to do. If we're going to do a reconstruction of a playground, it's going to have to be closed. And regarding the runnel, we know that that's a really popular feature, and we have sort of anticipated there being some, concern about removing it. What we're currently doing, DEP regulations for volume of usage in sprinkler areas is significantly reduced. So we're really totally locked into a square foot area and a volume of water that we can use. But we knew that the runnel was very popular and that we really did not want to lose it altogether. So, Terry and I, we have really, have done, I think, a really good job of incorporating, a somewhat shorter, but, maintaining that feature in their design. And one thing that I do think is, you'll still have that opportunity for kids to kind of follow the water, a sort of smaller runnel. But, as Steve and Terry pointed out, we've also got a lot of different kind of, water play opportunities in this area. I mean, currently all we have is that, one little spray bollard, which is a little bit limiting. So you kind of, we are adding, I think, some play value to the area. And, just in terms of the planting areas, I mean, I can understand what you're saying, but we do also hear loud and clear that people want, kind of less asphalt, more green space. And also from our point of view, Parks Department, more permeability and a better growing condition for those trees, because some of those trees are the original Moses era trees, that some of the lindens around the perimeter. And as you can see, from the presentation, they're struggling in that, those very restricted tree beds. So, we want to have happy trees. We want a better growing environment for the rest of the lifespan of those trees, and the younger trees as well. So, there's, again, I think there are benefits to enlarging the areas of horticulture.
Thank you. Any other questions? Natasha, do you have a question? You can go.
Yeah, I had a couple. First of all, about the armature, the sandbox armature. Is there any other example within the Parks Department's network of something like this? The reason I'm asking is because I just worry that I understand that it's important for accessibility and for including everybody in sandbox play, but I also worry about this big concrete structure out there where, little kids are running around. It seems to be of a height where, just a small child could, if he's running and not really looking around, not being totally aware as small children are, they could like just literally run right into this slab of concrete. So I don't know what can be done about it or how it can be made in a way that is very safe, maybe positioning it in a way where, it's really at the very, very end of the playground where kids won't really be running around. But I really do worry about the safety of this feature. I also, oh yeah, anytime there are picnic tables in the park or in playgrounds, and I've been to this playground a lot when my kids were younger to attend many, many different birthday parties, other celebrations. So, people gravitate to them to hold big celebrations, and that just has an impact on the amount of trash generated. So I think for a playground like this, some sort of signage that says, this is a carry in, carry out space, especially for bigger items like pizza boxes and, birthday cake boxes. I think it would be perfectly reasonable to ask the public to carry these items out rather than just dumping them either in the trash bin or those big bellies, where like before you know it, there's a rat infestation. So something like that would be very helpful. And about the plantings, I'm actually in favor of more greenery in these playgrounds in general, because heat and sunlight and heat exhaustion and sunstrokes, it's becoming a bigger problem, year by year. And I do think that it's important to provide more shade and also for permeability reasons. So I'm okay with more plantings rather than fewer plantings. And finally, one last word about the outreach. I also would like to say that this was not a rush job at all. We will try our best to make an announcement about this presentation, and if the Parks Department provides us with any sort of link for like further public testimony, we'll incorporate that into our next committee meeting. But I do remember the Parks Department itself doing a lot of outreach, actually having a very good meeting earlier in the year. I guess it was February or sometime. So that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, we do have other sand tables in the park. They're a little bit more contemporary looking than this. There's a standard fixture as for a sand table that is basically posts, and it has two bowls in it. We have one in the playground, big, I can't remember what it's called, Big River playground in Riverside Park South. And there's also one actually at a Newfield playground immediately south of here. We felt that was too contemporary, because it's just a kind of modular unit for this, because we really wanted to work with Jerry's wonderful design. So, that was the catalyst for Terry and her team coming up with this, which could just kind of float above and not sort of, be of the same vocabulary, but not engage with the sandbox. But I think your point is, and we can talk more, let me know what you think on this, Terry. But I think your point of it's, maybe putting something that was kind of like a little kind of warning bump or something, Terry, can you think of anything there that would be like a little speed bump before you get to the actual table that would sort of, to sort of, alleviate the possibility of some child just kind of running into it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could make a change in the pavement.
Yeah.
That would be something we could take a look at. Of course, if you make too big of a bump, then you're working against your your accessibility piece, right?
Yeah,
so
good point.
But
I mean, I think it's more side to side than it is sort of full on, probably. So I think that's something that we'll look at a little bit, in a little bit more closely, because I think it's a good point.
Thank you. Barbara, did you have questions?
I did. I had a comment more than anything, if that's okay. When my kids were growing up, quite a few years ago now, we lived just a block away. This was their favorite playground. It's really fantastic. And Jerry Linus, I don't think you mentioned it, but he has gargoyles all over the neighborhood, and they're fantastic. And you see some of them within the structure of the sandbox and stuff. But I was wondering, the poured concrete seats seem so barren compared to this fanciful, amazing sandbox. And I was wondering if maybe you could just put some gargoyles, like at the back of them, so it forms the back of a seat for just here and there, not everywhere, but a few of them. Just bring his work into the whole playground. That's my first question. And I did want to ask one other thing. And that is about the chain link fence. Are you planning to leave that whole chain link fence, or will you replace it with something a little more attractive?
Yes, we
it
are
looks
replacing it.
Hideous in this picture, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Tim.
No, it's being replaced. The height is being brought down, so it'll be half as high.
But it's still chain link.
No. It's going to be steel picket fence, which has a decorative. It actually in Riverside Park has a decorative rail on top.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, better, a lot better. I guess I didn't focus on that when you made the presentation. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Is there anyone else, Alex, before I get to you, let me double check to see if anyone else on the committee has questions. Anyone else?
Alex,
Alex, go ahead.
Oh yeah, one last little comment. The mechanisms for opening the gates into the swings and also into the playground. You know, you got the stroller and the scooters hanging off. Those are very difficult to open. I mean, they even open harder in Central Park too, and they have like a different mechanism. But just a comment, there must be a more better way. And it's often awkward. Is the door supposed to be closed, supposed to be open? You know, but anyway, I think just a comment, something to think about. The mechanism for closing the gates, always quite awkward.
Thank you. Anyone else? I just had a couple of questions myself, so no one else has a question. I had a couple of brief ones for the swings. There's an accessible swing. Is that for all ages in this playground, or is it for 5 to 12 only? Is there a 2 to 5 accessible swing?
This is the standard.
Okay.
In terms of age that it addresses, Margaret, I'm not 100% sure I know the answer to that.
I'm not sure as well. I wouldn't say it was 5 to 12. I mean, we call it universal. So the idea is it's for all ages. It's certainly good for, I'm not sure that it goes all the way up to 12, but you know, we can verify that, but it's certainly good for most of the children, I think, that will be using this playground.
Okay. I mean, are there options for something that's a little bit more accessible for like a 4-year-old, or probably not? Is that what you're trying to say? This is the standard.
I think this is good for a 4-year-old and older.
Okay.
And you know, because I mean, we can verify that, you know, what the age range is for it, but I think the idea is it covers a wide age range.
I also agree that it's heartbreaking to see the runnel gone just because it's literally called River Run. And so there's no river running through the park playground anymore. Can you explain to me again exactly the reasons why you removed it? Because I think that getting that explanation down will go a long way to helping either the public, the community understand why that was removed, because it's such a iconic part of this park, of this specific playground.
Carrie, do you have the DEP numbers to hand?
The area of the water play area. So in other words, the extent of the water play area where any water that is spraying, right, from the water features cannot be larger than 700 and it's either 7 or 714 square feet. I think it's 707 square feet. So that's one part of it. The other part is the amount of water is restricted. And the way it's worked out with parks, it has to do with that square foot area, but also the features themselves. The output of the features have to be a certain gallons per minute. So they're all low flow water elements.
So just to clarify, so when you say it's 714 square feet from basically the source of the water, you're saying if you were to attach a runnel, that's going to exceed the square footage that's allowed based on this current schematic. Is that what you're saying? If you attach it, that's on the square foot part. And then the second.
Right. So what you see right here, sort of that peanut shape, I'm going to call it, that is just about 700 square feet.
And then the second part you said is that you don't have enough water to be able to source it. So it's a square footage on a water issue. You have a limited amount, and
Well,
that
the square footage is the helps determine the amount of water. So it has to do with
oh,
where the water's draining, because all of this water is going waste to drain, basically, right? It's not like recirculating and getting reused. The water goes into a drainage system, right?
yeah.
So it's minimizing wastewater and it's minimizing water usage in general.
Is there any possible way to bring back the runnel? Like, again, it's such a beloved component of this playground that I think that that's gonna get the biggest pushback. So is there anything that can be done that you would consider specifically with this playground to bring it back?
I think it's hard to consider bringing it back to the extent that it is currently, because there's also kind of maintenance and operations component to this as well. I mean, as you noted, it runs almost the entire length of the playground and down to that southern catch basin that is immediately north of the sandbox there. And, you know, we've had a lot of we do have drainage problems in some areas of the park, and that's certainly an area. I mean, if you want to go back, Ivy, can you go back to the existing conditions photographs and show the southern end of the runnel?
I remember there's a
Yeah.
big blue pond spot where there was no drainage, essentially. There's like a,
This one here. So you can see the kind of the southern end of the runnel there and that catch basin and, you know, its proximity to the sand. That gives us maintenance and operations challenges there when we have all of the sand and water going into that
got it.
Catch basin and the south end.
I'll note that the Wild West playground in Central Park, it has a similar length runnel, although it's might smaller. It's like almost like a little culvert. But yeah, I can see the challenge, but I think people are going to push back.
Yeah, just you're gonna have to be prepared for that. The timeline, can you let us know specifically if you wanted to go ahead and when you expect, you know, the bids to go out, construction, that whole thing, like specific dates? Do you have that yet?
Steve, do you want to speak to that? Or do you want me to? Do we still have Steve?
Steve is on.
Yeah.
Well, you know, well, maybe you should take it because I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long the design process will now take.
So the additional design duration will be 6 to 9 months, and then we typically have a 1-year bid duration.
Right.
So that would put us going into construction 2027.
And
With
then
a 1-year
construction is
duration,
typically a year.
it would be a year.
Got it. All right. That's good to know. Thank you. Any other questions for anyone else? Okay, so
One question there, any money for the bathroom, Steve? He doesn't want to answer.
Oh no, I'm happy to answer because I know that you're going to come through again and secure the funding. So yes, at the moment there is no funding for the public restroom building.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
thank you. Okay, so you guys require a resolution from us,
Yes.
and we'll call the vote today. We have a quorum. So what we're going to do is there is no actual resolution ready to send out to you guys, but I can give you an idea of what it says. And then the full board meeting is this upcoming Tuesday. So we're going to have to turn around this proposed resolution very quickly for it to be presented at the full board. And our goal is to get this to you by tomorrow. And we just really would appreciate everyone making a concerted effort to get us comments in a timely manner. So that way we don't have to finalize any resolutions or do any edits over this long weekend because no one wants to do that. So the resolution is going to say that the Community Board 7 approves the plan that as it was presented today by the Parks Department for the reconstruction of Riverside Park's River Run Playground. So that would be a vote to approve the plan as it was presented today. Okay, great. So I'm going to call the question, and today's vote will approve that. All in favor? Okay. That looks unanimous. Is that right, Natasha? Okay, so there's no one opposed. No abstentions. I'm confirming. Anyone not voting for cause that just jumped on now? Nope. Okay. Fantastic. So the vote is in favor of the plan. So, and this resolution is adopted. We're going to bring this to the full board on Tuesday. Congratulations. And I guess that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for giving up a little bit of your end of summer for this. This is very helpful, and we will see you soon. Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you all.
Good
I
night,
have to
everybody.
call for an adjournment. Is that what it is? I have to call for an adjournment.
Yeah, yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Approved.
Approved, second voted. All right. See you soon, guys.
Bye.
Bye.